Hi, my beautiful people. teejayisaacs here. Welcome or welcome back. So today I have a makeup and movie recap and review Monday for you guys. Yeah. Woo, woo. Woo, woo. Yeah. So yes, this is a new series I'm starting on my channel where I come and I sit down, do my makeup and chit chat with you guys about Bollywood movies that I have watched, and I'm going to give you like a recap of it and then my thoughts of what I think of the film and maybe rate it and yeah. So if you like that idea, guys, then make sure to give this video a like, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I upload. Don't forget to share it and leave me a comment down below. Come on in and join the teejayisaacs family. We have fun here all the time and we look good doing it. Yeah. So guys, if you'd like to see how I got this look and me chatting about the movie, then just stay tuned. Are you ready, guys? Yeah? Okay. Hello, my Soshallo babies. How you doing? Hope you guys are doing all right. Yeah, let's just get started. Every product I use on my face will be listed down in the description box if you're interested. And yeah. Okay, let's get started. So guys, over the Christmas holiday, I decided to re-watch Kabi Alvida Nakina, and although it's quite a controversial movie, at first I wasn't too pleased with it, but re-watching it, I kind of get it, and it's good. It's good. So guys, as I'm talking, I'm gonna just be doing my makeup. Okay, so it starts off with like introducing each character, and it starts off with like Shahrukh playing football, but obviously they're in America, so it's called soccer over there. So he's on this team and he's playing football and his team seems to be winning. Then they introduce us to Pretty's character, and she is a career woman. She's really focused on her job. I think she might be like the chief editor in the magazine, and this magazine is one of the biggest magazines out in New York where they are, and so she is doing her thing as a career woman. And then they introduce Abhishek's character, and he is going to see his dad, which is Amitabh Bachchan. So Amitabh Bachchan's character is called Sam, and his character is so funny. He's like sexy Sam, and his wife has passed away, and so he is just living life and enjoying life at his old age, and he's having fun, having a lot of relationships, but nothing serious, just having fun. And Abhishek is his son, and Abhishek's character is called Richie, or Rishi, I think. And he is about to get married, and his dad is just hooking up with whoever. And he's getting maybe like some cold feet, or anxious about the wedding and all of that stuff. So yeah, he is talking to his dad about it, whether it's the right thing to do. Now it goes back to Shahrukh, and his team has won the football match, and he's so excited. He calls up his wife, which is Pretty Zinta. So I didn't say their names. Shahrukh is called Dave in this film, and Pretty is called Ria. So Dave is married to Ria, and so his team has won the soccer match, and he's so excited. So he calls up Ria to give her the good news. And while he's calling her, she has good news of her own. She has become the, I think, executive chief editor or something like that. And her magazine is now #2 in America. So she's getting a raise, and she is just over the moon, excited for this opportunity, this new challenge, and she's telling Dave, and he's also like, oh, he wished that she was there to come support him at his match. And she was like, oh, she's so sorry, she forgot, and all those kind of things. And he's kind of like making a joke of it and just saying that, oh, next time he would arrange his match around her schedule in a jokey way, but she knows he's not joking. You know, one of those ones where he's like, he's saying it as a joke, but he means what he's saying, you know? So that's what it is. So he now tells her his good news. He's got a big contract. I can't remember how much the contract was for. So they have signed him to this club for a massive amount, like $5 million contract. And he is going to be the starting football player and all of that. And so he's really excited. And so she's excited and she's congratulating him and all of that. And so she now tells him that he shouldn't forget to go pick up his mum from a venue that she's at that she forgot, so she couldn't go to get his mum. And as we were talking about Dev's mum is Kieran Keir, and I can't remember her name in the movie, like she was just called Mum. So anyway, he had to go pick her up from this venue that she's catering for because she's a caterer. So as she's talking and getting off the phone, she's like, yeah, so don't forget to pick up Mum and Dev. Happy anniversary. So she hangs up and then he's like, oh, shit. He forgot about their anniversary. We now go over to the wedding venue. So she's getting everything ready for the wedding and they're showing Amitabh and Abhishek riding to the venue on this like horse carriage, and they have lots of musicians, the band and people following, walking alongside them. And Sexy Sam is so excited. He's shouting from the carriage that his son is getting married. He seems very excited. And Rishi is just like, oh God, Dad, stop. You know, he feels embarrassed and I can't blame him. So they get to the venue and Amitabh sees Kieran Keir and they start a conversation and he's kind of flirting with her and she's just like, yeah, she's not having it. And he kind of like made a statement or a joke or something about her behind. And so Dev now shows up at the venue and he overhears conversation with Sexy Sam and his mom. And he's quite like shocked about it. Like, what the heck is going on here? You know? So he's like to his mum, okay, are you ready to go? Like, I've come to pick you up. And she's like, oh, she would be ready if the bride was here, and the bride isn't here, so she can't leave just yet. That she will make her way home, that he can go. So he's like, no problem. He goes and he leaves his mum at the venue. So as he's walking, he's in this like park area. He's about to throw his gum on the side of the road or whatever. And a lady's voice stops him and she's like, excuse me, don't dirty the garden. He now turns around and this is where we are introduced to Rani Mukherjee's character. What was her name? I think her name was Tina. Correct me if I'm wrong. And so yeah, he's like, why do you care if I throw my like gum away? And she's like, I've just cleaned the garden. And he was like looking around like, so you cleaned this whole field park by yourself? And so yeah, and then he was like, by the way, aren't you the bride? Why are you sitting here? Aren't you supposed to be getting married? Then he now went to go sit next to her, and then she just became like a bit weary, like, why are you coming to sit next to me, kind of thing. And then he's like, aren't you supposed to be getting married and all those kind of things? And she took quite long to answer. And he was like, you shouldn't take that long to answer that kind of question. It doesn't look good. And they start up a conversation. They're talking about like marriage and all this kind of things. And she asked him, why did he get married? And he now took quite a bit of time to answer the question. And so she kind of repeats what he said and was like, yeah, it shouldn't take that long to answer. So she's having like wedding jitters, you know, like nerves and all of that. She's having second thoughts about the marriage. And she's now telling him when her parents died, they kind of took her in and they're the only family she knows. Like, so she's talking about Amitabh and Abhishek. So she's saying that, yeah, they've just kind of grown up together. So it's like they've been friends forever. And so it's just like the next step kind of thing to do. And she was saying sometimes you give all yourself to friendship and then that friendship leads to something else. And when you've given all yourself in friendship, there's no more love to give kind of thing. And then he was like, okay, that's what you say. So that's what they were just chatting about, you know, marriage and all of that stuff. So anyway, they bid farewell and he was like, okay, goodbye, I'm gone. And she was like, no, not goodbye. Goodbye is like a certain thing. You never know, you might run into each other again. So he was like, okay. So he goes and she goes. As they're walking, he turns, sees her walking off. And then he turns back and is like laughing to himself. And then while his back is turned, she now turns and looks at him. And, you know, so you can now begin to feel something is building, something is beginning to happen. So this is where that build up is leading to. The two of them. Anyway, she goes off to get married. And as he's like now going home, he's walking and he gets hit by a car and he's really badly injured. That put a stop to his football career, his soccer career, and he got a limp in his leg because like now at this point when I was watching it, I was like, how did the person driving the car, how did that person see that there was somebody walking for him to stop the car? And I was just like, that doesn't make sense unless the driver was a drunk driver and didn't realise and just was driving over the speed limit, high or tipsy or drunk and just hit the guy. Anyway, that's that. His career's now over. It's now ruined. They now go and say like, how many years later? So he's now a very bitter man, always angry, and obviously he's in pain, in chronic pain because of his leg. Him and Ria have a child. I would say he's about maybe like 7 or 8 years old. It seems that Shahrukh became like a house husband. So Ria is pretty much the breadwinner of the family. She's the one working and earning high amounts of money. So she's the breadwinner of the family and she's bringing in the bacon, as they would say. He's like a football coach for children. I believe he's like coaching his son's football team. While he is no longer able to play, he had to choose that career path so that at least he's still in that life of football because he still wants to be around that life. So he does that. Anyway, they're just, you know, going about their lives. It's now showing the relationship between Tina and Rishi. And their relationship is so awkward, it's so weird because she has OCD and she's like very frigid and he's more like playful and jovial and just wants to have fun. Although he has a good business, he's like a events promoter, I think that's what he was. So he promotes events and like does like parties and all those kind of things. But she is a teacher, although we never really see her at her job or anything. So anyway, you know, he's trying to be all playful with her, but she's always cleaning. So she's hoovering and cleaning everywhere all the time. She's just always so like, she nitpicks about every little thing that is out of place and she just never lets loose, like never lets go. So she now was like, oh, take off your pants. And he was like, what? Take off my pants. And then he thought obviously that she wanted some hanky-panky. So he was like, okay. So he's quickly taking off his pants, and then he's like, okay, your turn. And she was like, my turn? For what? What are you talking about? He was like, yeah, because you told me. She's like, yeah, I told you to take off your pants because you've got stain on it. So he was like, oh gosh, why are you like this? Like, just let loose, like, let's have fun, whatever. So anyway, she's just like a prude, you know, she's so prudish, and you know, she doesn't want to be fun, and he just wants to be fun. And then she's always like treating him like a child. And in all essence, I guess he does act like a child in some way. And that's what she says. She's like, well, I wouldn't treat you like a child if you didn't act like one. And then he was like, well, I wouldn't act like one if you weren't acting like my mum, kind of thing, you know? Both of them were just going at each other. So he goes off to work. As the movie progresses, there was an incident. This part was so funny. There was an incident where he's picked up his son and they're going home from a match, and like, oh my God, the team that his son is on, they're so bad. And there was an opportunity for his son to actually score a goal because the goalkeeper fell and came out of the goal, and the ball was right next to his son. And so he started screaming like, kick it, kick it. Everyone was screaming like to the little boy, kick it in. And the little boy was just staring and like didn't know what to do. And they were like, kick it, kick it. And even the goalkeeper of the other team was like, oh my God, like, ugh, he's messed up because now the other team's gonna score. As everyone's shouting, kick it, kick it, kick it. Do you know what this little boy did? This little boy picks up the football with his hands and went over to the goalkeeper and gave him the ball. Oh my God, even I was cussing. Even I was even cussing at the little boy. I was like, are you dumb? What kind of child is this? Like, oh my God, how stupid can you be, bruv? Oh my God, I was cussing the little boy. I was so pissed off. Just like how Dev was pissed off, I was so pissed off. I think I was even more pissed off. I was like, what kind of child is this? Even even Dev was like, what are you doing? So Dev was so angry. So as they were going home, they were taking the train. Dev was just like reprimanding him and was like literally shouting at him and just like, yeah. So he's like, now stay right here and don't leave my side. So basically he was going to get like tickets or something, and he told the boy to stay right next to him. Then they showed Tina, Rani, and she was like babysitting a little girl, and so the little girl and Dave's son bumped into each other. So the girl was now like saying sorry as they're walking, and the boy now was falling in love with the little girl, and the little girl kept looking back at him. She was like, you know, whispering like sorry, and that. And so this little, nah, seriously, I was pissed off at that little boy. I'm like, what is wrong with this child? Why is he so dumb? Anyway, he now follows this little girl, right? And then as he was following them, Rani now meets up with the mum, and like the mum now has taken the girl. So the little boy is now looking for them, and then as the little boy is looking for the girl, who does he see in front of him? His dad. And his dad, like, you know, was furious, was like shouting at him, like, you know, threatening him. And so as he was threatening him, Rani was sitting and she was hearing it. And apparently at that time, there was this like, there was this criminal who was targeting children called the Black Beast, and he was targeting children, so kidnapping children and all those kind of things. And so as Rani was hearing Dev tell of his son, she thought that he was the Black Beast. And she was like, oh my God, Black Beast? So he now was like, you stay right here. And whatever, whatever. As he was like, he now was doing something. He turned around for a little bit and was doing something. And then Rani scoops up the little boy, holds his mouth, and starts running and was like, I'm gonna save you, little boy, oh, from the Black Beast. And so the boy was like, no, dad, trying to shout for his dad. And she held his mouth. And so he turned around and was like, oh my God, the Black Beast. So now thinks the Black Beast has taken his son, and Rennie is thinking she's saving the boy from the Black Beast. It was so hilarious. And so he starts chasing Rani, and she's running, carrying this little boy, yeah. After a while, yeah, the boy's become heavy for her. She put the boy down, and she just like, okay, let's run. And so Shahrukh now sees a little boy with a football. He took the football and he throws it at her and whacks her in the head with it. She falls down, and then he goes and grabs his son. And he, oh God, so they now called like an ambulance, police and everything. And so, yeah, they've now gone to the hospital. So they called up the hospital beforehand saying, oh, there's a patient coming in with a leg injury, so be prepared. So Shahrukh was now like walking into the hospital, into A&E, and he had this little boy with him. But because, you know, he has a leg injury, so when the nurse saw him, they automatically thought that this was the patient. So they're like, do you have a leg injury? And he was like, yeah. And then they took the boy from him, put him on the stretcher. He's like, oh no, my leg injury is from years ago. Like, no. So they like, no, sir, I'm gonna save your life. So they gave him like an injection, and you know, they sedated him and all that. So anyway, Ria and Rishi now came to the hospital looking for their respective spouses. And so, yeah, as they were like talking, trying to find out where their spouses are. And so on the bedside, the nurse came and was apologizing to Shahrukh for mistaking him for someone with like an injury and for sedating him. And he's like, oh, I'm going to kill you, and all these kind of things. And so they now open the curtains and they put them beside each other. So Rani and Shahrukh were in the beds beside each other. And so they were just like, you? And so they were both just like, okay, what is this? So, you know, Rishi and Ria now come and they are apologizing for their spouses and stuff like that. So yeah, the film goes on and on and on. So Rishi and Ria kept bumping into each other frequently at parties or at clubs or whatever. They were kind of intertwined with each other. And Shahrukh and Rani kept bumping into each other as well. And so, yeah, I think Amitabh was having a party and he wanted like a theme. And so Abhishek invited Priti and Amitabh invited Shahrukh's mom. And so obviously Shahrukh and Priti, they go with the mom to this party and they are just having fun, whatever. But it's like Shahrukh did not want to be there and neither did Rani, because this is not the sort of things that she likes. And Shahrukh is just a grumpy person. He's just miserable and, you know, they don't want to party. And anyway, they're just at this party and, you know, Shahrukh and Rani are just standing there just being miserable for no reason, like not wanting to have fun or anything like that. So Rishi and Ria, they go off and they have a dance with Amitabh Bachchan. I love that song. I might do a reaction to that song. So yeah, let me know if you want me to do a reaction to the songs from Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna. I think I've done 2 songs from Kabhi Alvida Na Kehna. So if you want me to do the rest of them, then just let me know. So yeah, guys, they're just having fun at the party, apart from Shahrukh and Rani. So at the end of it, Rishi now trying and get Rani to come and dance. He was pulling her and she was just like, fighting him off kind of thing. And, you know, she didn't want to be disturbed. She didn't want to dance or whatever. So he's like pulling her. He's not like letting go. So she kind of like snatches her hand out of his and was like walking away. And so Amitabh is seeing all of this happening. And so he, like, you know, just calls her name. And then he now gives a speech about why he throws this party every year, because people just thought he's just an old man that just loves having parties. But there's a reason behind why he throws the parties every year. And that's because it's the day that he met his wife. So he celebrates this day because obviously his wife's passed away now. And so just to remember her, he has this party to celebrate her. And then he was just talking about love and, you know, saying that when she was alive, maybe he didn't say he loved her enough. And now that she's gone, he's like obviously missing her. So he was kind of like just saying, basically, cherish the ones you love while they're still alive, because when they're gone, they're gone. And then you might be left with regret. So that's what it is. And so, you know, Pretty went to hold Shahrukh, and then Rani went back to Abhishek. So anyway, that's pretty much like the early part. You know, we're just trying to get to know the characters and know what their likes, their dislikes are. So as we've gathered, Shahrukh is a disgruntled husband that just doesn't like his life right now. He is not happy with the way his life is. He hates life. So he's a bit depressed, and he's a house husband, doesn't do much but look after the boy and cook. So that's his character. So he's not living life the way that he would want it, because his life took a detour because of the accident. And then Ria is a workaholic. That's her character. She's a workaholic, and she kind of puts her family last, and that is her character. So she doesn't really have much time for her family. It's like she just believes that, oh, because Dave is not working, so, you know, she's just giving him the responsibility of raising their child alone, and she's just always working. And then we know that Rishi's character, he's very laid back, he's very easygoing, he does his job, but he wants to have fun as well. And he's pouring so much into his relationship, like he's trying to make his relationship work, and Rani's making it very difficult for him, and he's having a hard time getting her love. So that's basically his character. And Rani's character is a frigid, OCD, like very serious person. Like she just doesn't know how to have fun. And it's just like, yeah. So basically, Rani and Shahrukh kept bumping into each other. And so they now became friends. And so they began hanging out together because they took the same train. And so they always would meet each other and, you know, trying to help each other with their marriage. So Rani was like, need to be more loving and more sensual with her when she's had a hard day at work or something. You know, you could give her a massage and all this kind of things. Yeah, so he was like, a massage, like, So they now went to like this furniture shop, and so they now was like at the bedroom section. So they sat on the bed, and so she was like, oh, let's role play. So you be Ria and I'll be you. And so what would Ria do when she comes back from work? And so he was like, oh, I'm so tired. Ugh. And then she now started like, oh, come here, baby. And then she's like, you know, massaging. There's another guy, like this white guy on the other side. And as they were like doing their little, you know, she was doing like the massage and everything, the guy was just like, he was dropping and was like, ooh, ooh, ooh. But I'm just thinking, like, what does he know? What does he think that they're saying? Because they're speaking in Hindi and he's American. What does he think that they are saying? But anyway, I guess from like the way that they were saying it is very sensual, very sexual, and all those kind of things. So he probably gathered that, oh gosh, they're getting it on. So she's there, she's like, oh, whispering her ear, bite her ear, and like, you know, blowing her ear and just like all this kind of things. And so like they were really getting it on, like, you know. So as they were like going on, I think she now noticed that the guy was watching them and listening to them. So she now like stopped and composed herself, and she was like, oh, okay, enough. Then Shahrukh was like, oh, okay. Then it was now her turn. Shahrukh now took her to like this, you know, lingerie shop. It was really like where you can buy lingerie and you can also buy like sex toys and all those kind of things. So yeah, he's like, you need to be more sexy and make an effort for Rishi, get like a whip, get this and all of that, lingerie and all those kind of things. So that night they both went home, and so Pretty was on the phone, and she got off the phone and she had like her face mask on, and she, you know, she was just like, oh God, I'm so tired, you know. And so it clicked to Shahrukh, and he was like, oh, perfect opportunity for him to, you know, practice what he was practicing with Rani. So he's like, oh, you're tired. Come here, baby. Let me give you a massage. And she was like, oh, oh. Like, because it's so out of character for him. He was now massaging, and he now like blew in her ear like roughly. So he wasn't even doing it like sexual, like how he was taught. He was doing it rough. He was like, you know, she's just like, what? And so he's now like, oh yeah, baby, let me rub your face. And then he starts rubbing her face. And then I think he now did something. And she was like, oh, damn. And then she turned around to him. And then she noticed that, why's your face blue? And then she turned around and then he was like, ah! And then they both screamed. And it was so hilarious. So it was just, it was rubbish. Like, it just ended there. And I'm just like, oh dear. You know, a missed opportunity because he didn't do it right. But Pretty was taken aback, was like, what the heck has gotten into you? Like, are you okay? Like, you've messed up my face mask now. And just like, you know, she just got upstairs. She was like, oh, what the heck? So yeah, she goes off. So now, over at Rani's place, she rings the doorbell, not knowing that her husband has invited his dad and some friends to watch like a football match or something. She didn't know that. And so even before she knocked the door, the dad was saying, did you tell Tina that you're having this party? And he was like, well, what's the point? Like, he was like, yeah, he doesn't care. It's not like whether he told her enough or anything. So he's like, yeah, what's the point? So the dad was like, no, like, you shouldn't do that. And, you know, he was like, yeah, he doesn't care. Anyway, so she rings the bell and the dad opens the door and she's in a blindfold, right? She's wearing this sexy outfit and she's like, hi, baby, it's me. Do you like it? Do you want it? And, you know, she's just talking and, you know, oh my God. And then, you know, she comes in the house and she's doing all this sexy stuff with like just half her clothes on. And she's like, just, you know, oh, do you like it? Do you like it? Oh, like, are you here? Are you like listening? Are you hearing me? And then Amitabh was like, Tina, we can all hear you. And then she pulls down her blindfold and she sees like all his friends just right there. And she just like, she didn't know what to do. She was just so embarrassed. Oh, she starts crying and like, I felt so sorry for her. I was like, oh my God, the day that she decides to be all sexy is the day that he has to have a house full of friends. Oh God. So it's like it didn't work on both parts. And so they were like, yeah, because it's out of their nature. It's not their nature. And then to come and do it and, you know, just being embarrassed, it's like, yeah, I'm not doing this again, you know? So anyway, they kept on hanging out and they started, you know, thinking like, oh, what if, you know? They was having those thoughts like, what if they were the ones together? They weren't with their respective partners. Anyway, they now started doing, you know, things to help still build like relations and make their relationships work and see how that goes. So it was like their anniversary, right? And remember, both their anniversaries are on the same day. And so they now planned to do something nice for their partners. And they decided to go to the same restaurant, right? And how crazy is that? Seriously, how are you going to go to the same restaurant just so you guys can be near each other? That's just so weird. They now take their spouses to this restaurant, but they've placed them at tables where they can see each other. And so while he's like toasting with his wife, he's toasting to her as well. Like, their spouses are not very like intuitive, because if that was me, I would notice if my husband was drifting away from me or hanging out with, I don't know, maybe I won't, I don't know. Some people are very good at keeping secrets, and so I don't know. What would you do? Like, I mean, it just baffles me. My God, like, why are people like this? Like, I just don't know. Like, watching the film all over again just got me angry all over again. Like, I mean, I get it. I get the film. and how like this is some people's reality. Like this really happens in real life, maybe not like in the same circles, but this really happens to people in real life where they feel they are with the wrong partners and whatnot, and instead of them to just leave, they go and start having an affair. I think that's where it just goes wrong. Anyway, they started, you know, creeping around and started a relationship, and until Amitabh kind of clocked that there's something going on here, because remember, he now went to visit Shahruk's mum to invite her for a dinner party because it was his birthday, so he wanted to invite her. And so he took Rani with him, and she was acting really weird, like when she was at his house. And I like the way Karan did this scene where she was, you know, looking at the pictures, and so Pretty now was like telling her about the pictures, like when he became a dad, about their wedding and all this kind of thing. And then he now comes down and, you know, sees her and sees Amitabh, and he's like, okay. So Amitabh was like, oh yeah, he just came round to invite his mum, and he's also invited with Ria. They can all come for the dinner. And then I think this was the genius part. As they were leaving, Ria goes, Tina, give me back my Dev. And then there was just this like, you know, shock on like her face and Dev's face, like, oh my God. Like, so they're probably thinking, oh my God, does she know? You know, she was stunned, like, oh my God, what are they gonna do? And then she was like, the picture. And then she was like, but you see, at that moment, yeah, that's when Amitabh clocked, because he looked at her and he looked at Dev. And then Dev was like, you know, acting suspicious. So that's when he started to clock. Although he wasn't too sure, but he was beginning to like think that, yeah, something isn't right in the sauce here. Something ain't right in the sauce. And so that was it. They go for the dinner, and oh my God, it was so awkward. It was so weird. Like, what would you do if you're invited to like a dinner party and the person you're creeping around with is right there? Oh gosh, what are you gonna do? Anyway, then now we're like, okay, talking about relationships and talking about like infidelity and all those kind of things. And it was so awkward. And then I can't remember the conversation, but it was something along the lines of, she was reading something or in her magazine or something, that if your husband or your partner starts behaving in certain ways, being overly nice and this and that, then he's trying to cover up an affair. Pretty was like, oh, maybe she should be worried, because at this point he's just doing things so overly nice. So she was like, yeah, maybe I should be worried. And then I think they now asked Sharrett what he thinks of the subjects, because all throughout the night he's just been quiet and just, you know, not trying to make eye contact or anything. And so he was like, yeah, he has a confession that he is having an affair. Ugh. And the person he's having an affair with is right in this room, and it's Tina. Oh my God. The way Rani's heart must have sunk. She was just like, and everyone was just like, what in the world, you know? So everybody was just like silent. No one knew what to do or say. And then he was like, haha, joke. It's a joke. And then everyone now was like, oh. And Amitabh was the only one that didn't laugh. And he was like, he's gonna keep his eyes on this too. Eventually, they got caught by Amitabh and his mom at the train station, because she was like telling him off, like, why would you do that at the dinner? Anyway, so they get caught. So now came clean to their spouses, and yeah, Pretty was like, get out of here. Like, she wants a divorce, and Rishi was like, yeah, he can't do this anymore. Because there was a part I missed, but I love that scene. I think they were having an argument, and she was like saying, if you have all these problems with me, why don't you just divorce me? And then he said something, was like, you see, that's the difference between me and you. It's like, I'm fighting to keep our marriage and you're always fighting to destroy it. And that really just hit me, and I'm like, oh, that's a line. That is a line. And I was like, you know what? Like Abhishek can really act, you know. Abhishek can really act. Like I don't think he gets enough like credit for his acting, but he can really act. Because like in moments like that, he was just amazing. So anyway, he was like, yeah, he can't do this anymore because yeah. And then Sam had a heart attack, and then when Rishi ran out of the room because like his dad is dying, he now speaks to Rani, and he was like, let him go, let Rishi go, and let him find the person that is meant to love him. And that bit also, it was like, oh God. Seriously, Karan Johar, yeah, the way he writes his scripts, and like there are just some dialogues and some monologues that he does, and it just like hits you. And yeah, he was like, let him go. So that he can find the person he loves. And that I was like, that was amazing. And so he tells her to do that. And so she leaves. She leaves him. And then they both left their spouses. But the funny thing is, they were now pretending that they were making things work with their respective spouse. So on the one hand, Sharuk was like, yeah, Ria, she's upset, but in time, she's going to forgive me and everything. And then she was saying the same thing. And yeah, it was so sad. And then 3 years goes by, they have moved on, he's moved out of his house, and it was so nice when Kieran Kerr was like, you didn't consult me when, you know, you and Dev had your argument, you didn't consult me when you broke up or whatever, but she can't break her little grandson's heart. So are you gonna throw me out as well? Like, please don't throw me out. Like, kind of thing. It was just so beautiful when Pretty ran to her, gave her a hug and broke down. Because that is Dev's mum, we automatically think, okay, she's gonna go with her son or she's gonna take his side or whatever. But no, because at the end of the day, wrong is wrong and right is right. And she knew what her son did was wrong. And that should not be any sort of bearing on her relationship with her and her daughter-in-law or her and her grandson. So when she took a stand saying that she's going to be with her daughter-in-law and her grandson, I really appreciate that. And I was like, yeah, good for them. And it just showed that motherly love, that she just didn't take her as a daughter-in-law, she took her as a daughter. So he's now moved on. They're both like living their separate lives. And then finally, he got a job offer in Canada, so he's moving to Canada. And then Abhishek goes to visit Rani to invite her to his wedding. So he is getting married again. And so he went to invite her because that is the only family he has left. So yeah, he invited her and he wanted her to be his best man, and she agreed. In the end, they now went to the wedding, and Pretty was there. Yeah, Ria Pretty was there, and she was with her boss. And guys, I forgot to mention, her boss is Arjun Rampal, and he was, you know, interested in her, but obviously because she was married, he kind of like, you know, but I think they started dating at the end when, you know, they broke up and everything. So yeah, I think Ria didn't know that the wedding was Abhishek's wedding. She just thought it was Arjun's friend's wedding, which it was. So the lady that Abhishek ended up marrying was Arjun's best friend. And so when they now saw each other at the wedding, they were like, is your wedding? And he was like, yeah. And him and Tina broke up 3 years ago. And then Abhishek was like, and you're here with Arjun? What happened? And she was like, yeah, her and Dev divorced 3 years ago. They were like, what? Oh my gosh. And then they were like, do either of them know? And they were like, I guess not. So because Tina was there, so Ria went to speak to her. Although she still was holding some grudges, but she had forgiven, but you know, it's still bittersweet, and you know, she's not gonna forgive entirely. But in the end, they told her that they have been divorced and they've been single, and if she wants to be with him, she better hurry up because he's leaving in like 10 minutes. His train is going to leave in 10 minutes. And so Ria and Rishi both gave Tina their blessing to go and find her true love and go be with him. And so she ran to the train station. And at first, he now saw her, but he didn't want her to see him. So he's now trying to dodge her and trying to hide from her. And then she now saw him at the window and she was like, and the train starts moving, and she was like, you know, so she thought that, yeah, she had lost him. So she started walking off. And then he pulls the chain on the train to stop it. And he came out and he was with, and they like spoke and they were like, well, I thought you were. And she was like, I thought you were. And, you know, anyway, they ended up together in the end. And that's how it ends. So I enjoyed watching it again, but it still made me mad. I didn't like the whole cheating storyline. I really didn't like it. I've got to give it to Karan Johar. He knows how to make some really good films. And like I said before, his dialogues, like certain dialogues were just amazing. And I have to give it up for Abhishek, because I was wondering, why did they cast Abhishek to be thingy? But then I was thinking, who could they have used instead of Abhishek? And I was thinking, yeah, they could have used Arjun instead of Abhishek, and maybe Abhishek could have been the friend. But you know what? When rewatching it, I was like, no, they cast the right people for this film. Abhishek was so right for Rishi, and like he did that amazingly. And like I said, I don't think he gets enough credit in Bollywood, but he's actually a great actor. And yeah, like when I first started getting into Bollywood films, I was one of those people that I used to give him a hard time and thinking like, what in the world? Like, he's terrible. He can't act, he can't do this, he can't do that. But to be fair, I've actually enjoyed a lot of his movies. Like Juvia, oh my god, Juvia, he was amazing. Like those sort of roles really suit him. Like comedy roles and like gangster roles really suit him. And in Guru, he was actually really good. I think the only film I didn't really like him in was in Amral Jan. I didn't like him. I don't think they should have casted him in that. I don't know. His character, I mean, he plays a noir very well. Like it suits him. But I don't know, I don't think, Anyway, overall, if I had to rate Kabi Avida Nakina, I'll give it a 8 out of 10, because I loved the cast. I loved like the songs in it. The songs were amazing. I loved the fashion. I loved the whole wardrobe and everything. But the thing that I didn't like was the cheating aspect. I love the storyline because this is true. People do go through this, and what can we learn from this is that if you are going through something like this, if you feel like you have married the wrong person, or you feel stuck in a relationship, then remove yourself, let that person go, then go and do what you need to do. Okay? That is, yeah, the whole cheating aspect of it, I did not like at all. The whole affair, I did not like it. But I guess that is the film, and this is just bringing to light what it could be like, why people do things that they do. Because like looking from the outside, looking in, you'll think these are two perfect couples, really. A very successful, career-driven woman and her football husband, although he had a minor setback because of his accident, but he's taking care of his child, he's raising his child, and he's a family man. And then on the second side is this two gorgeous people that just, I think their parent was, yeah, it was a wedding of convenience, definitely, because she felt like, oh, you know, she's grown up with him, she knows him, why not just marry him? So yeah. But anyway, guys, I enjoyed watching KANK again, and let me know what you think of this. If you like this sort of interaction, me just doing my makeup and talking with you guys about the film, tell me if you like it. And yeah, if you do, then make sure to give this a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you know when I upload. And do not forget to share and leave me a comment down below. Come on in, say hey, say what's up, and let me know where you're watching from. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And yeah, I will see you in my next one. But remember, beauty is in deep and we are so shallow. Yes, we are. I love you guys. Bye-bye.